So, the last year or two, I've been watching quite a few MGTOW videos. So, that's men going their own way. Basically, it's men who are electing to avoid relationships with women, especially marriage. And they're doing so for a variety of reasons. Let me turn the volume down on the sound effects a bit. And but I'm learning a vocabulary that's going with it. And there are some terms for different kinds of men that reflection doesn't look quite right on the water today. Let's see, am I headed north? Okay, this is the direction I want to go, I believe. So they've come up with a number of, I don't know if the word is pejorative terms for different kinds of men. There's the simp, who seems to be someone who's either sympathetic or sympathizes with women or maybe it's just short for simpleton, I don't know, but seems to be someone who sympathizes with women to the extent that they relinquish their attention and time and resources to a woman and get not much in exchange. Another term, but we're not going to be talking about them in this video. Gonna eat some mushrooms here. And another term that I've seen thrown about is cuck, and I believe that's short for cuckold, which seems to be, I'm not sure, but it seems to be a man who's almost henpecked into submission by a woman. I'd have to look it up. But I'm not going to be talking about that either in this video. The term I want to focus on is incel. Okay, so it looks like the city is up there. So an incel apparently is someone who is an involuntary celibate. So this suggests that it's a person who couldn't get into a sexual relationship with a person of their choosing, even if they tried. Even if it was their desire to do so, they just wouldn't be able to use the slang, get laid. So, what strikes me as strange, though, okay, so I could see the shaming maybe with a cuckold, a cuck, someone who's allows themselves to be taken advantage of by a woman. And then the other term, a simp, Although it's a man's right to do whatever he wants with his time, energies, and resources. I can kind of see where the MGTOW movement may have some reason to shame a simp because they're, I guess, fueling a problem of female entitlement that thinks it deserves to get free stuff just because of its looks or its gender. That bird just appeared right in front of me, didn't it? So, but I don't understand why anyone would see a need to shame an incel. Because if you're talking about a person who isn't able to get into a sexual relationship for whatever reason, then I don't understand the shame in that. You're shaming them because of how they turned out, because of either nature or nurture. And in many cases, these incels, they want to engage in sexual relationships, but they're not able to do so. And it could be for a whole myriad of reasons. Probably the bottom line being that they're not attractive to their target gender for whatever reason. So why are they being shamed? I mean, that's like shaming a person who's handicapped or physically challenged. And I guess it doesn't matter if they were born that way or if it was the result of an accident or an injury. Why would you shame a person who's physically challenged? But then you're going to shame someone who's, and I don't even know what realm that would fall in, emotionally challenged, mentally challenged, maybe developmentally challenged. But this is suggesting that, and it seems uncharacteristic of the MGTOW movement, this is suggesting that a sexual relationship is somehow a necessary path in life. That it's something a person must of necessity participate in, which in many cases seems to be exactly the opposite of what the MGTOW movement is saying. So why are these people being shamed for being involuntarily celibate? Is it the adolescent male need to denigrate other male competitors in the sexual marketplace in order to make oneself look more attractive? I mean, I've even seen women shaming incels, and that kind of boggles my mind. I would have thought that women would be sympathetic to someone like that. So, but then the MGTOW movement, there's supposedly this vast brotherhood, but then it's going to turn around and shame a man for being an involuntarily celibate. an involuntary celibate, an incel. It doesn't make any sense to me. You're saying that this person has no potential to participate in a sexual relationship, and you're also saying that a sexual relationship is a necessity in a person's life. While so many MGTOW adherents seem to be saying the opposite, that sexual relationships are not a necessity to live as a fulfilled man. So, and indeed, apparently, the MGTOW movement is accused of being populated by incels, which I don't think that's the case either. I mean, sure, there's probably as many incels in the MGTOW movement as there is anywhere else, but there are definitely lots of men who have been in numerous sexual relationships that have gravitated to the MGTOW movement. So why the shame, guys? Now let's look at a person who's not an involuntary celibate, not an incel, but rather they're celibate by choice. Why would you shame that person? What is there about a sexual relationship that is so necessary that you think that your neighbor must participate in it? I think that may go back to homophobia. Men being afraid that the man next to them might make a pass at them or maybe even rape them or something. I don't know. But you would think if the person was a voluntary celibate or a celibate by choice, that you wouldn't have to worry that they might rape you. So I'm just not understanding the shame that's being leveled at incels. You know, it almost seems like an extension of the shame against nerds. And nerds used to be synonymous with geeks, but then geeks kind of attained some level of honor because they became synonymous with being techno-savvy, I guess. And while nerds was just someone who is like a social misfit, and usually one that didn't do well with the good-looking girls, I guess. Yeah, I'm hungry, so I better go in this market. So, anyway, by the way, this game is called Scum. Right now I've got the puppets, otherwise known as zombies, disabled, so I'm just exploring a pretty dead world. There are animals in the world right now, but we've only come across birds so far. 48% carrot. I don't know if I want to risk that. Ah, here we go. So yeah, if someone could explain it to me, like, why would I want to shame people who may even have a desire to be sexually active, but for whatever reason, as implied by the word involuntarily or involuntary, they just don't have the ability to make it happen for themselves. So why are we shaming them? And like, even if it was due to some fault of their own, like maybe you're saying that they're incels because they haven't cultivated their social skills. It's already been observed that someone with poor social skills has a difficult time improving their social skills because no one wants to socialize with them because they have poor social skills. And really that just goes along with good-looking people usually having better social skills because people want to talk to them more. So again, still not seeing the justification for shaming these people. Like, you know, most of us start out life as incels. You know, and some of us just never get out of that stage, I guess. But by shaming them, we're acting. This is a willy warmer, by the way. Go ahead and it's probably used. Someone else probably used it before me. And I'll get rid of this shirt. Get some better camo. And I could take this and take that, maybe make some rags out of it. Oh, look. Money. In this dead world, on this particular server, money's of no use, really. And I'm not sure that I can use that nylon wire as thread. So really that's the extent of this video. I was just trying to wrap my head around this practice of shaming people who are alleged incels. Just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. It's like a movement of supposed enlightenment comes along, and then we come up with new people to hate. And as for the other terms, I can't really speak to those because I've never been married myself, so I can't say I've ever been a cuck to a woman. I've probably simped a whole lot of ladies, though. And it's still unclear to me why simping is bad. You go to a strip club and you throw money at a stripper. Isn't that simping? You telling me that MGTOW adherents don't go to strip clubs? When on the other hand, they talk about how they should basically rent the vagina from prostitutes? So you're telling me you're basically simping a woman when you go to a prostitute. Oh sure, yeah, you get a nut out of it, right? You get an orgasm, but then going to a stripper and giving her money to arouse you is simping, when going to a prostitute is not simping. When you leave the strip club and you probably pleasure yourself later based on the stimuli you experienced going to the strip club. I mean, like the MGTOW movement, prides itself on being so intellectually objective and superior, but it seems like it has a lot of chinks in its armor. And I'd like to ask some serious questions of the MGTOW movement in another video, because I was MGTOW when I was 5 years old. I watched what my mother put my father through at a very young age, and and I think even by his own confession, he was at least partly to blame for that, but I also know that he earnestly tried to be a good father and husband, but the marriage still resulted in divorce at least once, I think possibly twice. Because I had thought that at one point in time, when I was 6, that they had legally separated, but I think I was told that they had actually divorced, so I don't know. And then they got back together again, but then that may have actually happened earlier on. It's unclear. Anyway, it was a lot of... I had the opportunity to observe from a front row seat a lot of bad marriage from within a small space of time, so that when I was 5 years old, I saw 60s Batman as a role model, because 60s Batman had a cool car, he had a loyal friend, he had a butler, he dated tons of good-looking ladies, and he didn't have to commit to any of them. None of them nagged him to do anything, because he was Batman, he had a purpose in life, and those women either helped him in his life work, or he just moved on to the next girl. And all around it looked like a pretty good way to live his life. And it certainly wasn't what I was seeing at home. So I probably understand a lot of this MGTOW doctrine better than new adherents to MGTOW do, because I've been MGTOW for a long time. But at the same time, I've got some hard questions I would like to level to the MGTOW movement, or level at the MGTOW movement, and see what they say. Because for one, I don't entirely trust foreigners telling Americans how to live. And right now America is in a post-Christian era, and while I'm not Christian, I know that America's roots are in Christian values and ethics, and being in this post-Christian period of time, America seems like it's becoming a ship that is adrift and at risk of smashing on the rocks. And I'm a little wary of foreigners, some of them who could be intelligence agents conducting war on our country, influencing and molding the topography of our society with their propaganda, which is, I suspect, what some of this MGTOW movement stuff is. Because while I have seen many cases, and especially in recent years, of women acting in a way that only supports the MGTOW argument or thesis or agenda or perspective, I have also known women that were just exemplary models of not just femininity, but also humanity, and who were loyal to their men. And it wasn't always clear that it was for financial reasons or for financial security. There are some MGTOW personalities who are saying that there's no such thing as love, and that there's no such thing as a woman who loves. And I've just I've seen women that lead me to believe otherwise. And I'm not sure why we fault a girl for doing what a girl has to do when we allow ourselves as men to do what a man's got to do. I'm concerned that we may be overextending ourselves in this ideology, and to an extent that it's destructive to our society. And I know that, like, some MGTOW personalities will say, but the women started it. But or they'll say that women aren't the prize, men are the prize. Well, how about we're all the prize, right? Every human is the prize. me, I'm the prize. To her, she's the prize. To you, you're the prize. Because we're all out for our own self-interests first. But love, like the Christian concept of love, is self-sacrificing, and it looks out for the interests of the people it loves first. And this is where these great stories of heroism and self-sacrifice that we've heard in the past come from. Like the man who jumps into a river to save some drowning pet or a drowning child. Are they doing it for their own gain? Or are they doing it for this sort of Christian pure love, this golden rule type of love? And yeah, America may be getting away from that golden rule type of love, but I think it's a choice that we can make as to whether we want to provide that kind of love to others in our life. I can't see boiling down a woman to her vagina as like some MGTOW adherents seem to want to do. I don't know if it's because of some of my classical education, but just like a man isn't his muscles or his penis, a woman isn't just her vagina. There's more to a woman than that. I see more than that in a woman. And now there's one MGTOW YouTube personality. I forgot his name, but he's also from the UK, and he talks about obtaining a high quality woman. So at least he seems to subscribe to the idea that yes, you can find one, that there is one to be found. Whereas other MGTOWs seem to say that nope, they're all bad. You don't have a chance. But what I didn't see that MGTOW personality say, at least I haven't come across a video talking about it yet, is like how to both identify and find one of those high quality women. I think I've heard him say, well, you have to become a high quality man, you know, and then, but these are like very abstract ideas, and yeah, you know, these are like Grecian Hellenistic ideals. It's like, how do you know when you've attained it? It reminds me of kind of some religious mysticism where everyone thinks that they've arrived, that they've been saved, but the other guy hasn't, you know, and that the other guy has to get up to speed in order to be as arrived or as enlightened or as saved as the first person. It's like it's like snake oil, you know. To me, that sounds like a myth, a high quality person in comparison to someone else. I mean, yeah, we can all come up with an idea in our heads as to what a low quality person is, but even if you find someone you think is a high quality person, we've all heard that once you get married, you find out that the princess is a milkmaid, or the prince is a doorman. I don't know. No offense to milkmaids and doormen, but yeah, there are some other questions I want to level at the MGTOW movement, because while I see the truth in a lot of what they say, there's also some deep cynicism going on there that I do not think is constructive. We have to find a way to encourage and foster the building of solid family units in this country, because not having them is dangerous to our country. And then just not having children, that's not the answer either, because then you wind up with a bunch of poorly parented children, like a whole generation of nothing but poorly parented children, and that's not going to be good for the country either. So the answer is to build good, solid family units. It takes two to tango. So the MGTOW movement really has to join hands with some kind of similar feminine movement, so that we can both acknowledge the nature of the opposite gender and then come to terms to cooperate and work together in building solid family units. I don't know, maybe in the past this could only be achieved by suppressing and controlling women, if such a thing is even possible. But I think a lot of us are a little bit more enlightened than that, and we don't really want to go back to a place where women are treated as property, and where we do not acknowledge the human rights of women. But anyway, I've gone on for a while now. I'll just stop here.